As we've got down to the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran from Team Liquid. It is Clem. And the upper right, red Protoss. It is ShoWTimE. Game number 1 of this best of 3 series in the second semi-final. Winner plays Hero Marine in the grand finals coming up straight afterwards. Of course, that finals is best of 5. It's just going to be seeing the assimilator setting up in the main base and just going to be having our probe coming straight across down the bottom left-hand side. ShoWTimE looking for some early information. So obviously we come out of one TVP and into another. Everdream, a map we didn't really see in the previous series either, right? So already seen some different map picks and stuff coming up here. With the probe coming around, SCVs coming through, and the Nexus dropping down on the natural expansions. Again, that started. There's the Reaper about halfway along, couple of SCVs fighting against the probes, and the command center will drop down onto the natural. So getting that command center started here, as we do have the orbital about to finish up in the main base, and a mule already dropping down. So SCVs and mules mining away all nice and easily. Just gonna see Warp Gate is continuing up. Adept still Corona boosting out of the gateway here, so Adept going to be finishing, and just seeing the Nexus is on the natural. Reaper coming forwards, Adept able to deal a little bit of damage. Going to continue chasing this Reaper way down the south side. And just going to be seeing the command center continuing in the natural expansion as well. Reaper back up around the top. Now the Twilight Council builds in the main base. Just going to be seeing the Nexus continue set up to Sentry, Warp Gate. The Reaper is trying to fight that Adept. Adept is going to chase it away. There's the Helene on the way out of the factory. Reactor on the barracks and the starport building as well. Again, everything kind of as expected for the moment. As that Twilight will be done very soon, and just again a gateway to set up at the front. Starport about halfway along. Couple of Marines and a Helene coming out. That blink just chrono boosting from the Twilight. So very similar to what we've been seeing previously in terms of playing against what will be a Widowmine drop here. The Helene to try and help Clem get some information, because right now he's very blind at the front as to what's happening. So that blink just chrono boosting the Adept. Coming in is going to be firing on the Helene as the Reaper pulls back a little bit also. And the hallucination is still up in the main, just going to set off the Widowmine. We're seeing this happen quite often lately, the hallucination coming in to see what's up from the Protoss player, and then the Widowmine, you know, just setting off the Widowmine. Not that it really does much. The Widowmine will be back on cooldown, ready to fire again by the time it comes across the map. As we do just see the couple Stalkers, Adept in the center in the front, and just having the third Nexus dropping down as well. A couple of Widowmines continuing up to the top. The Stalker's coming in, getting that Reaper in, and the Stalker warping in too. I'm going to see the two Forgers building up right now, and the Blink is continuing to come through on the Twilight. So again, a little bit of pressure. Medivac sits in that sweet spot here on Everdream. A spot where it can't be hit by anything, and you can really have access to the third or the natural. And there's two Forgers on the way from ShoWTimE, so you're going to play the double upgrades off this. Now Clem, plenty of bio building up, straight into the reactors on the factory and the starport as well. He will be on the later third CC as well, around the 6-minute mark if he decides to place it down. As he will be going for that initial big push. Medivac to the side, charge and +1 armor continuing up. The couple of gateways dropping down, and all of these Stalkers out down the bottom. As the Marauders and the Marines continuing through. Stimpack combat shields +1 attack all continuing up as well. And again, the upgrades, the charge. Continuing in. We have 6 extra gates in the main base. As these few Stalkers setting up at the front. The Bio Army from Clem would like to press forwards here, and the Stalkers are obviously going to be seeing this and starting to pull back. This is nice, seeing this right away, so tells ShoWTimE, okay, need to get some extra units set up and ready to go. Make sure I have the sentry set up, the force fields ready to buy myself some extra time on all of this. Especially needs to make sure his upgrades are done, because if he fights before his upgrades, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. It's a lot of money invested for these early stages of the game. To then not have them as part of the fight would hurt a lot. As the Bio Army still pushes over the far right side, and a little bit of shield battery healing. Bio pulls back. Nice couple force fields there, trapping these Marines in. Stalker's dealing some damage. The medevac's pulling away, dropping some units down. Medevac off over to the right-hand side, and we're seeing concussive shells building up from Clem as well. Bio Army into the center here will already start to pick away at the rocks. Move this from Clem through the middle as well. Almost again ready to fight. 3rd CC will finish behind this then. ShoWTimE. Again in the front already. 1-1 now done, so has bought himself some good time. Chops this army in half, pulls back. Widowmine will connect in on the Zealots. You're just going to be seeing the other Zealots continue to come on through this, and ShoWTimE, I think at this point, has enough units to really hold this off as long as he doesn't hit or get hit by a couple of bad Widowmines. Nice response over here at the same time. Deals with these Widowmines, only losing a couple of probes. He is still just running away from this army. He's very afraid, I think, of the Widowmines getting some connections. Does not want to commit into this for anything, does he? This medevac will get out alive on 2 HP. Trading with the Stalkers a little bit of micro backwards. Trying to send those first few Zealots in. That's it. That's all the Widowmines. Now ShoWTimE shouldn't be as afraid to kind of at least take a forward stance here. You know, maybe don't go chasing down the ramp, but tell you what, Clem's had a lot of damage output, right? He's had a lot of moments where he's just been consistently dealing damage, and ShoWTimE's been like, oh, forwards, oh no, back, forwards, back. Rest of the Bio going to come through. A couple of Zealots go down, and just going to be charging in here. Marines and Marauders being picked off. 8 probes going down to the Widowmine in the 3rd base, though, and now ShoWTimE is unable to keep on top of all of this. However, with the 2-2 upgrades, he is going to be on a very good upgrade lead. And that's going to be big. That's going to give him some opportunities. And look at the timing of the army from Clem. It's late. So his armory and 2nd engineering bay are not on time to be able to go into 2-2 of his own. So ShoWTimE is going to have a really, really big upgrade lead. Storm now coming up as well. Now, I mean, Clem does have Ghosts on the way to deal with that. So he'll have those EMPs available, able to take off shields, able to take off the energy on the Templar as well. Liberator goes all the way to the top side. The few Zealots of ShoWTimE down the left-hand side of this. And Clem's Bio Army, well, over to the left-hand side again. Those few Zealots are going to go down very quickly. So Zealots already cleaned out as the 4th base of ShoWTimE is set up and in position. Already 2 Zealots around the top side. The Widowmines of Clem out across to the right. Another Zealot just sat over here and watching. As we will have the Storm about to finish on the Templar Archives. The Liberator shot down before it can do much more than kill a single probe. Widowmine drop trying to get out. Does at least drop the Widowmine down. Here we go. Big push from Clem. And ShoWTimE has his High Templar in the War Prism. Needs to keep those safe. First EMP hits a lot of the Zealots. Plenty of Widowmines here that Clem is trying to drag this army over. And ShoWTimE starting to take some more shots. This Widowmine actually goes off before it actually happens. Ooh, EMP came down too early. So the Storms come out and are effective. And we'll push Clem back just a moment or two. He sends this Ghost forward like it's going to EMP. It doesn't actually have the energy. So let's continue. And he actually morphed ShoWTimE and Archon off of the High Templar that already stormed. More Storms coming down. And Clem's army is bruised, battered, and in low HP. Definitely not a scenario where he wants to continue pressing forwards into this any longer. There's 3-3 still on the way from ShoWTimE. Remember, all of this is happening while ShoWTimE is not just up 1 upgrade, He's up an attack and an armor upgrade, which is obviously massive across the board. Robo Bay and a second facility, so ShoWTimE even opening his options towards Disruptors and Colossi into the late game as well. As he sets up on the 4 base, and his economy should be comfortable to support that. Marines down here. ShoWTimE already just sending a few units down to get ready to deal with it. Clem will get the Liberators in position in front of the natural very quickly. Still trying to stem forwards here. We'll catch a Stalker. Actually gets the sentries. EMPs them too. ShoWTimE wanting to try and fight. Losing a couple of probes somewhere. We'll check in on that later. The bottom side drop did get cleaned out as this is happening, but obviously this fight could break out any second if ShoWTimE wants to go for it. Drops down a Storm. Looking for another one. Doesn't find the opportunity yet though, as Disruptors in production. Disruptors obviously give you that option to push this bio back properly, and then you can jump in and get rid of these Liberators more easily. He's just going to pull the trigger before the Disruptors are ready to go. He's running into quite a lot of Widow Mines here, taking a lot of splash on these Zealots. They're taking a lot of damage with ShoWTimE's upgrades, I think, for the moment, are just a bit too much. Clem is about to get 2-2. So obviously that is coming in very late across the board here. Ooh, that EMP lands as the High Templar dropped out. But there's still not enough bio to keep this going, and ShoWTimE continuing to chase. A couple of Widow Mines burrowing. Stalkers will clean up a depot there, and don't know what's recall. And part of the army is there's a drop on the right-hand side. So ShoWTimE has to recall to reposition to deal with this army of Clem. Now back into the middle of the map. ShoWTimE is going to reset. 2 more Disruptors being produced coming out of these robo facilities. That's about halfway done. Next, Marines, Ghosts, all continuing to build. The starport building on the reactor. So that's going to be 2 starports in total here for Clem. Got a line of Clem already pressing forwards. The bio army coming to the front as well. Nexus already taking some extra damage, and the Zealots going to start charging down, going after a lot of this bio. Widow Mine's going off. EMP already lands on a couple of Disruptors and an Immortal. High Templar all over the place. These Vikings taking a lot of damage as well. Now more Zealots trying to warp in. They're still pushing through. Disruptors continuing to fire. That's a nice Disruptor on the left-hand side. Hits a lot of what Clem has. A couple Disruptors from the top don't really find much. The Clem is cleaned out and pushed back. And reinforcements are going to get caught mid-map. He does turn them around just about in time to save the Ghost, perhaps. But ShoWTimE's going to keep on pressing forwards, and at this stage it's going to be difficult for Clem to recover from the losses he's taken. And he sets something up here as ShoWTimE coming through, starting to charge forwards with the first few Zealots, and EMP on a handful of Stalkers. Disruptor's already lining up, and he's going to make his way up this ramp. Finds one Marine, finds a Ghost as well. Disruptor's hitting the front of this army, just the edges. Going to send another one down and zoning Clem completely at the moment. ShoWTimE actually just going to come around and kill off this 5th base before it's a planetary. Well, Clem says, no, you will not, but he's going to take a Disruptor shot to the face. Big connection on the army. Another Disruptor shot scares them away. The base goes down. The SCVs go with it. There's a drop over here that ShoWTimE will have to deal with over in the natural expansion. It's already killing a few probes. Is it killing enough to make up for the losses that ShoWTimE has given to Clem across the map? Another Disruptor just shy of the 2 Ghosts that are next to that planetary. Let's drop loads back up. There's so many Zealots here chasing around this one medevac. Disruptor again. Oh, killed this time before it connects. This time Clem has to lift up, though. The second Disruptor shot there would have been good. ShoWTimE will back away for a few moments as Clem is continuing to pull off an impeccable defense. All things considered, it feels as though it's crazy that this young Terran player can continue to hold on, because it just feels like this should have been over by now. It feels as though ShoWTimE, with a couple of these Disruptor shots that he's had, should have been able to just end this, but no. Clem gonna keep on fighting. Now he's got a Liberate on the bottom right already, heading towards the middle line, and ShoWTimE's out of position slightly for this fight. These Liberators get set up for free, and already blinking a few units up to the top. Eats an EMP or 2. Disruptors didn't fire just yet. Now they will. And I feel like the Disruptors cleared the way, and then he didn't really take advantage of it to kill the Liberators. He'll get them on the second wave of Disruptor shots, but ShoWTimE's supply is dropping. Liberator here got a few kills before the probes pulled away. Another Storm dropping down, and Clem staying at the front, keeping this aggressive and keeping this fighting. Bio of Clem back up to the top, and just seen still ShoWTimE pressing forwards. He's gonna hunt this down. There's one EMP left in this. Well, now the ghost goes down, so now there's none. But the kiting from Clem should be good to get some kills. ShoWTimE's army trailing behind on supply a little bit, but he is still up kind of a good amount of workers. He did deny that 5th base before. Clem just now starting to replace that 5th base, get that ready to go again. Shadow Stride, Chrono boosting away. 2 Archons of ShoWTimE will set up in the front of the base, and just having the rest of the bio out down the left. Then we've seen the Stargate setting up in the main base, and plenty of the bio army into the middle. Clem is maxed out, 130 army supply. ShoWTimE 20 supply away. He's out of position, so if he fights this, is going to be in a base trade kind of scenario. And tries to split to deal with that storm. There's more available. Where that came from is, well, yeah, there's one Liberator set up to deal with the Zealot run bys. This is not a Zealot run by. This is a full-on army run by. Clem is going to get straight on top of this base. I mean, there's a lot of probes going down. ShoWTimE needs to just go. Go and do what, though? Is he going to get up to the high ground here? He's going to lose High Templar. High ground EMP and the Marauders firing. I just don't think ShoWTimE's army is scary enough to do anything here. Walks into Widow Mines. It just feels like ShoWTimE's getting picked apart piece by piece. Another EMP on the Archons. You know, trying to push up here. This Archon's not going to do anything. He's just done nothing compared to what Clem got done. He killed 7 SCVs, maybe some more with this one Zealot still alive, but he lost 23 plus a Nexus. Clem was on the jaws of, was on the brink of defeat here. And he's just avoided falling down into a loss, and he's kind of picking himself back up, and well, he's very close to a win, guys. I think he's honestly just a fight away from winning this game. Now, obviously, it's still a hard fight to take into lots of storms, lots of disruptors, just a lot of AoE in general. But if he gets the EMPs across the Archons, they are going to melt. If he gets EMPs on the High Templar, then all you're really worrying about is the disruptors. And of course, Clem's micro is good enough to dodge those, and there's an example of it on the first one. Ghost does hit an EMP on a lot of the High Templars, so now there's not many storms remaining. There's one of the 2, and there's 2 of the 2 that remain. That's it. That's all the storms. EMPs on this army. Disruptors being targeted. Clem running around in this concave. He doesn't have EMPs for the rest of these Archons. He does have one still remaining. Drops it now as it kites away. ShoWTimE's going to make this a hold, and he is going to push this back. Enough damage done to push Clem to the bottom left-hand side once again. Stalker's blinking in, a medevac goes down. The Archons, DTs, and Stalker's also trying to chase here still. Another stim on the bio army. A DT gets picked off as he splits one DT away to go elsewhere. Clem resetting that 5th base, but doesn't have detection on it just yet. And it's also not a planetary to fight for itself. I think ShoWTimE's going to find his way back on top of this base. Well, just as Clem, I was just saying, I think he might have one good fight, and he's got this game. ShoWTimE finds a hell of a fight and is able to take a bit of a better time. That disruptor shot on the SCVs is huge. And another storm to the top, just trying to keep Clem at bay as ShoWTimE backs off. 16 workers killed. And ShoWTimE 5 bases of his own, looking okay and keeping on mining. And is he going to want to try and go back into this again? This has been 19 minutes of non-stop action in this PvT. Oh, big storm across the Marauders. Beautifully placed. 2 more Disruptors Chrono boosting out as another storm dropping down. Extra Zealots from ShoWTimE moving into the center. Archon is going to be morphing in. A couple of SCVs on the way up. Just seeing our Nexus continue to build in the front as a scan out over to the left-hand side. ShoWTimE's army out down to the bottom. Assault starting to come through into this. Stalker's blinking in. A couple of Liberators cleaned out very quickly. Ghost dropping the EMP wherever possible. But it's tough. I mean, this is an orbital now, so you don't have to worry about this being a planetary. Another EMP. How many Ghosts is there? There's still a couple with EMPs available, I believe. ShoWTimE rebuilding bases up towards the top so you can continue to get that economy up. Ghosts find a trailing Templar to snipe on down. ShoWTimE will relocate down to the bottom, the army of Clem into the center. The Clem Liberator will go and set up and try and deal some more eco damage. The one thing Clem's done very good throughout. Kept little bits of harassment just to try and slow ShoWTimE down wherever possible. Resources lost. almost dead even going into this fight where they're going to trade bases once again. ShoWTimE, this base just finished building, as it will go down right now. So base trade redux. You just kill one of the orbitals of Clem, so it takes away some of the mule potential. High ground position here can get some SCVs. Obviously continues to push up. So these are going to be bases for bases. Didn't realize ShoWTimE had like 20 workers AFK here. No wonder his income hasn't been as strong or as ahead as he might have expected it to be. He's losing a lot of these probes now as, well, Clem's losing a lot of his bases. This orbital staying alive for the moment. ShoWTimE might be in some trouble as he actually is going to start losing bases that are a bit more important to him. The bases that actually are mining still have mineral patches remaining. But the same can be said for Clem. I mean, it's straight up going to go down to both these players have basically 0 mining remaining. Big storms. Oh, huge storms on the bio army. Obviously, that leaves it bruised and battered because the medevacs are out of energy. They can't heal up anything anymore. 111 to 98 supply. Clem has 0 minerals in the bank. 16 SCVs that don't even have mining. They're going to long distance until the natural orbital relocates into that 5th position. Try and drop a couple EMPs. Now, this bio army's hurting too badly. You know, especially with the fact he's had to stim again to try and take this fight and to back away. And so now it's super low health. This Clem somehow is keeping the army supplies kind of even. Starting to drop down a bit more now as Stalkers do not have a blink to chase. Does ShoWTimE want to go across? He still has the bottom right base. Yeah, Clem does know about this. He set a Liberator up on it not so long ago. So he knows that base is there. He knows ShoWTimE has that mining. He actually landed the orbital from the 3rd back to the top left-hand side, able to start muling up. But ShoWTimE seemingly having the edge, just tipping over 100 supply now as Clem on the 60 to 70. And it's this one defensive position, which is planetary-less. It's EMP-less. It's just 2 Liberators. Well, the 2 Liberators might do a lot because there's not that much anti-air. The Disruptor comes through and the SCVs starting to drop, and they really are the last few SCVs here for Clem. ShoWTimE's going to back away for the moment. Not comfortable with the fight. I think he couldn't get rid of that other Liberator, so Clem is going to hold on for a few moments longer. Let's one in charge in. Big storm on the bio. Really good storm on the bio as a disruptor shot goes out, hits the Marauder. Another few units continue into this. Big storm once again. Zealots charging in. GG is called, and ShoWTimE will take game 1 of this best of 3. That's what you've got to do to beat Clem, though. You've got to play a ridiculous game. And that's just 1-0. Never mind the series. Nightshade is our second map, is in the top left-hand side. Our blue Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. Taking on the red Protoss in the bottom right-hand side, ShoWTimE. SCV is going to come across, and this is not just one SCV, it's going to be a second as well, so it's going to be 2 SCVs, 2 barracks proxied. The starting minutes of this game. First racks dropping down. Second racks will drop down soon as well. Of course, ShoWTimE will see there's no racks in the main base of Clem in a few moments as this probe comes up to the top side. So at that point, you can also get in. You can see the gas timing. And the gas timing should tell you that this is too late to be a Reaper. And so ShoWTimE might have a pretty good idea about what is going on. Instantly starts a Zealot, instantly starts a Cybernetics Core. Of course, those are the things you have to do before expanding now. There's Clem. Building up some Marines. A lot of the time, players just play for the bunker on the low ground and the real delay on the Nexus. As you can see, ShoWTimE coming across to the left. He sees 1, he sees 2 SCVs. I mean, immediately that is just enough information for him to just, again, double confirm that this is just going to be this. He's going to bunker here, so he's going to try and bunker this location. Means that you can then bring a barracks over for high ground vision, and you can shut down the pylon power in the gateway. So a few probes are going to pull with this. He actually already got an SCV, so there's only 1 SCV remaining. Yeah, I think he's already starting to buy himself enough time. Shield battery coming up. Obviously, it's really nice if you can deny the bunker. I thought he was going to be able to. You know what he could do is he could get the Stalker stuck here, and he could probably target down the SCV, but I don't know if that's a good decision. He's going to come around the side. He really wants to get this SCV. SCV RNGs up to the top to get out of range. Now the barracks is coming over, and it's going to give you high ground vision against this. So Clem is going to successfully have... I mean, there was another SCV coming too, so I guess it wasn't a big deal. Clem is going to successfully have the bunker up and ability to shut down this pylon. And ShoWTimE didn't really see that coming, so now he's going to have an unpowered gateway. He's going to have an unpowered warp gate, and he's supply blocked for a few moments. This is not pretty. ShoWTimE's in a lot of trouble. Because actually right now I think this is getting to the point where these Stalkers can't fight because they needed the shield battery. And so, well, you can just see it, right? He's just continuing to target down this gateway. Why not? You know, no real need to necessarily target down the Stalkers. He's going to start fighting them. Drain some of the shield battery energy. I mean, 4 Marines inside. Back at home, Clem expanding, by the way. Factory already up, cyclone underway. He is going to be able to chase. Oh my god, he chases the SCV off. These Marines honestly might just want to commit for the bunker. Like, it's kind of interesting because I feel like the Stalker's obviously very low, but you might just be able to commit for the gateway here, get rid of that Stalker producing. And ShoWTimE is in so much trouble. I mean, his own Nexus is on the way up, so both players will end up expanded. 3 more gates from ShoWTimE, who looks as though... I mean, that's just 3 gates overall, right? Because he lost one, so... yeah, that's a bit funky. Just going to see another pylon... oh, sorry, a shield battery dropping down on the low ground. Well, gates continue to build in the main base. A few Marines and a Cyclone out the front. Reactor finishes on the barracks. The starport will begin a tech lab, and extra racks setting up in the main. I mean, from a setup like this, it really feels like Clem should be in a good position. Can you look at this? He's 6 workers down, which is about right for PvT. That's pretty sad. I think it's the army difference, and I think that's the thing, right? ShoWTimE is so slow on any kind of tech. He's really slow on really having any units up that he might usually have. I think that's the issue. The Robo Bay here will give him Colossi. And I guess that's the... it's not a bad way to deal with Marine pushes. And this is going to be a Marine tank push going into combat shields before Stimpack. So, yeah, this is going to be a Marine tank push from Clem. Can these Colossi be enough to hold on? If he goes Colossus, maybe he feels like he needs the miracle shot of a Disruptor. But Colossus would be the more stable and better way typically to hold on against a lot of the attacks that can come your way. Hallucination out up to the top side. Flying across into the main. Cyclone gets a lock on. Hallucinated Phoenix gets taken down. Colossus finishes up. Another sentry just being warped in for a moment. Big push from Clem through the center. A few SCVs going to pull with this. It's 1 Colossus, second one on the way. Obviously, a few force fields can buy time, but then you've got to be careful of the tanks and the position they get into. So it's coming forward. Force fields in the front. Yeah, the Colossus doesn't have range, right? So it's very difficult to do much here. Can be shield batteried up, but now you're going to have these bunkers coming in. Well, you'll have a second Colossus, but the 3 siege tanks are obviously a major problem. Range in 15 seconds. And obviously 15 seconds is a long time when bunkers are building in front of your natural. ShoWTimE just going to take a few Stalkers around the top. Are they just going to go counter for SCVs, it seems like? The extended thermal lance is going to help the Colossi out a lot to try and fight these Marines. Tank's already in range of that shield battery though, which means they're really not long until they're on top of the Nexus. He's going to take Stalkers into the center. He's going to warp some more, so he's going to come in from two sides. The Marines are already going to force a cancel on the third base. ShoWTimE not paying attention there just yet. These Stalkers also stop reinforcements coming, but Clem is just going bunker after bunker. Unit movement there is obviously not ideal. ShoWTimE really hiding in the corner as long as possible. A few more Zealots warping in. He's going to hallucinate an Archon to try and soak up some tank shots to begin with. I mean, you have to go soon, though. This natural is not going to survive. Here we go. The hallucinated Archon is actually taking a lot of the tank shots, as he kind of expected. Stalkers from the back are going to be able to pick off one tank already. Bunkers going down. Colossi starting to get in range. Tanks still targeting the Nexus during this, by the way. So missing out on some damage on the army, but reinforcements get through and they kill off some of these Stalkers on the top. The Colossi still trying to press forwards. It's just not going to be enough, though. Colossus goes down. The Marines and Marauders stemming forwards. The tanks are surviving, right? And now this Nexus is in too much trouble. And the rest of the bio is here as well, right? I think it's just too much. An Immortal comes in. One of the tanks goes down. Nah, I mean, the natural Nexus is gone, and that's just going to be it. And another Colossus. Chi-Chi is called from ShoWTimE. Like I said earlier, it's one of those scenarios where the early game damage is just a bit too much damage. GG. Clem ties it up 1-1 in this best of 3. Asta, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime as well for the 5-month resub. 5 months of being reminded to sub. Aye, aye, aye. As we kick this off, game 3. In the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player, Team Liquid's Clem. Taking on the red Protoss in the top right, ShoWTimE and Eternal Empire. Between these two, would be a fantastic final game for sure. As we set this up and we get this started. Hey, Bam Bam Shablam, dropping the 5 gifted subs as well, just as we're at the very start of this game. Let me read these out. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Extremely generous of you. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for the support. Gift now to Flightmore for the 1 month. Tor for the 1 month. Stimu for the 1 month as well. And then Shame TV for the 3-month resub. And also Zeastraya. How you doing, dude? 3-month resub as well. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Bam Bam Shablam. Thanks for supporting the channel. As you have our probe heading down the bottom left-hand side. The racks is setting up in the main base. It's the probe coming through. Head up in the main. And the cyber core. As the probe comes down. And getting set to go. Next is building on the natural expansion as we get this started. A couple of SCVs. Getting this ready to go. We're going to be finishing factory building in the main, and Clem will start to head out onto the map, heading up to the upper right hand side. Get this up and ready to go. So we're moving across as the factory is about halfway along. Just going to see the probe nibbling away at an SCV. And we do have the warp gate just continuing up for the moment. Probably cancel on the main base as we get that going. Reaper is heading down to the bottom left side. Adept is going across to try and see what's going on. Starport into the main base. And the tech lab dropping down the racks. A couple of Hellions on the way then this time. So we're going to see some wrecked Italians. They're going to help to fight this Adept, which actually shades into trouble. So ShoWTimE gets a kill, but this will be cleaned out as the Adept gets taken down. And 2 more Hellions on the way up. Mac's going to lift off the tech lab starport. He's going to move on over and take that position. And yeah, just seen that blink, still chrono boosting away here. The couple of gates as a part of the wall. Obviously, when you're playing against this, you're going to be able to wall off quite nicely. And then obviously difficult for these Hellions to get in. So it's going to make this tough for Clem to really get much done. Of course, you can see perhaps the Reaper Grenade to break open this wall, but with 3 Stalkers at the front anyways, the damage is going to be pretty good to really just stop these Hellions from having too much health left to then still deal damage. But then he sends the 2 Stalkers off to the side, so maybe opportunity time force field available. And the force field is very well placed as the Reaper will go down to the sentry and the Hellions completely deflected. Blink just coming up, and we're just going to see our Cloak continue to come through, and the Banshee on the way out, going to be heading in towards the center. As you do see the couple of Stalkers coming through and picking off a couple of Hellions. So 2 Hellions already down as the Banshee makes its way out up to the top. Stalkers still through the center of this as another Banshee continuing to build. So Clem really just going for the all-out tech attack on this game. From Hellions into the Banshees, and where's that first observer just gone? It's just sat... Okay, it's sat right here in the natural, so it's not too far off. As this first Banshee may be approaching the main soon. There's no shield battery here, so will really come down to getting units in position nice and quickly that can deal with this. As he flies in, fires a shot he maybe shouldn't have there, gives him his opponent a little bit of a heads up. Now the probes will start to go down. 4 or 5 workers already being picked off. Stalkers blink in, and the Banshee does go down here. The Raven on the way up in the main base as well. And the Raven up, charge coming down on the Twilight, and just seeing these 2 Hellions back into the center. Stalkers on the Watchtower and the Banshee of Clem. Pull back away to the bottom side. A couple of extra racks continue to build up in the main base. Two more engineering bays of Clem dropping into the back of the natural. Just going to be seeing the Raven is about to finish up from Clem as starport lifts off, moves over to the side. Reactor is going to be placed down. As the factory makes way, a couple of these racks can lift off and go to the tech labs. As a third CC morphing into an orbital, so nice macro focused here from Clem. Obviously just nice quick 3CC rather than the 3 racks on a larger, more macro oriented map. It's definitely the way to approach things. He will play bio as well, I think worth mentioning. Obviously we saw Mech from Hero Marine in the semi-final and the other semi-final. And I don't think, I said it earlier as well, we have seen Mech be a thing from Clem even against ShoWTimE on this map in the past. So yeah, nice to see that this is just going to be bio from Clem, and that's going to be his decision moving on, especially just because we had such an awesome game with them in that first map when it really got to the later stages. Stalkers come in, pick off a Marine already. Forge, Templar Archives building up. Warp Prism, Chrono boosting out on the Robo facility. As that group of Stalkers will continue off down to the south side. They're going to try and get in here, but tanks are covering, so ShoWTimE can't really do much about that. And I think ShoWTimE's realizing it's just time for him to tech up. He's already taken his extra gases. He's already taken the Templar Archives. Realizes that this isn't going to be a big bio push or anything, so he doesn't need to stay on 3 gas and pumping out units forever. He can just tech up and afford to go in towards Storm and that AoE to then deal with the even larger Terran army that's going to come off of having this strong eco in the early stages of the setup. Doesn't matter down in the bottom. Bio will come through, pick off a Stalker. Banshee still hanging out to the side. Banshees really haven't done much this game. This Raven got a couple kills and auto turret in the main. There's a shield battery there. I guess auto turret on the third base, perhaps not the main, because there's a shield battery in the main. Don't imagine an auto turret doing much through that. I don't think, anyways. Is an auto turret that good? Maybe. it's full of energy, so I'm doubting anything. It was indeed on the third base. As the bio coming around, really Clem looking to see if there's a fourth base at the moment. When he sees there is not, he's going to say, okay, well, no fourth base, not much for me to do here. As the Zealot's going into the main. There's a few units already there. It's going to drop these few other Zealots then back into the third base. Lifts them back up and goes to the main as War Prism is just not going to last forever, or is it? War Prism somehow finds a way out of this as 5 SCVs go down. There's a fair amount of Zealots. Obviously takes some of Clem's attention away as well, though, so it doesn't give Clem a chance to set up any drops anywhere or any other attacks. Now ShoWTimE will start to build that fourth base. That was what Clem was looking for earlier. And this scan from Clem, you can see his position to see this base and this base. He really wants to know, you are expanding, right? There's not some kind of big 3-base attack coming my way I don't know about. So just getting that confirmation now knows as well, okay, right. Now your fourth base is coming up. Now I am going to make a push and try and make something happen there. Of course, ShoWTimE has got the Storms to help him defend this position. I already starting to fight. Storms his own Zealots here more than anything initially. He really wants to jump in on this quickly, but there's a Widowmine that hits the Stalkers. Clem's still coming up into the middle. A few Zealots have to pull away. High Templar just pulling up to the top as well. The rest of the bio setting up. Scan on top of the army. And tanks still pressing forwards, as all of these Widowmines will continue to burrow. And, well, ShoWTimE's army getting ready to go here, it seems. Here we go. Charging forwards. A couple of Widowmines already going off. These Widowmines are doing so much. So many of these Zealots getting blown up so quickly. Fire still coming through. The Storm dropping down. A couple of Storms dropping down as see another Zealot also picked up. High Templar still coming into this. Archons coming into the middle as well. ShoWTimE still pushing down the left. It's a little bit funky at the moment. Bio still fighting. Archon's getting pushed back. These two Disruptors are going to be finishing over on the natural. I mean, if he can get some Disruptors into these fights, obviously it changes everything, but Disruptors are not here yet. There's that Raven coming back. It's just sat between all these bases. Kills 3 more probes. Hasn't done a lot this game, but when it does, a couple of extra workers. Bio back down to the south as the Immortal. Picks off a Marine. So Widowmine to clean up. Not sure what the Immortal is really doing here. Just a bit of harassment. Misrallied. I have no real idea. There's the 2 Colossi down the right side. Extended Thermal Lance coming up on the Robo Bay. There's the Marines pressing forwards. And Archon coming straight through and getting on top of those Marines. Whoa, Disruptor. Now we have the Archon walking into its shot there. ShoWTimE has turned this into a 20 supply lead as he comes down to the fourth base of Clem that's not ready yet. And this is becoming a bit reminiscent of Game 1 where these guys are just going to avoid each other's armies. And both of them are just saying, way easier to just fight you and kill off your eco than to actually fight your army there. It's a snipe to kill this High Templar. As the High Templar just so slow compared to the Ghost EMP on the Zealots to charge into the third base. ShoWTimE needs to make sure he keeps enough moving forwards. He can't lose all of this because he doesn't really have much to deal with this army over here. A few High Templar. Oh, well, I say that he's got 2 Colossi, but he doesn't really have a protection for the Colossus. The one that remains. ShoWTimE's killed 38 SCVs, so he's got a big worker lead off the back of this, but not really much of an army advantage. Of course, if he gets to Colossus and there's not really, or multiple Colossi, and there's not really a way to fight those as Clem, that might just be good enough as the 2 Disruptors and the Immortal running. Disruptor shot. Gets the Ghost. Doesn't get the bio, which would have saved the Disruptors. The Disruptors get saved anyways. Wow. Recalls the Disruptors, but not the rest of the army. I don't know if ShoWTimE thought he had, because the rest of this army stopped moving just then. I'm still pushing forwards with this army on this side, but now there's more Colossi about to pop. I think ShoWTimE probably is going to be just fine. That's the issue. Clem lost all of this eco as this tech switch happens from ShoWTimE. It's now very hard for Clem to afford properly the proper response to the Colossus. I mean, he starts to build the Vikings, so he will get a few, but he needs a lot, and he needs them fast. And if you're going to focus on building Vikings on 45 workers, well, there's going to be other parts of your army that should end up lacking towards the end. He's actually missed an 8 supply just in Widowmines that are left on the top side of the map, and I mean, that's 10% of your army at the moment. That's not something you can really just leave behind and forget about as ShoWTimE replacing his fourth base. That's something Clem was able to do a little bit faster here. That fourth CC, I think, just never went down, just flew off to the side, and then ShoWTimE continued forwards towards the third, which didn't mind his decision. Stalkers blinking forwards. They want to get these Vikings, keep these Colossi safe, because they are going to be the core part of damage output here now. If you can keep this up. 15 probes just went down. We'll talk about that soon. I think it's just the Widowmines relocated to the high ground. Yeah, this Widowmine relocated to the high ground, and ShoWTimE transfers workers into the Widowmine shot. That's actually a cute play from Clem, as we do have the Bio just holding the high ground. It's a difficult map to push into bases on, and that's what we're seeing here is Clem is resetting this to just a 10 worker disadvantage. Army supply is still even. That said, ShoWTimE is on his way to 3-3, while Clem has decided not to go into further upgrades yet, so Clem cutting upgrades to maybe be able to catch up in the other ways. Army comes down. It's charging straight towards this. Zealots start charging in. Disruptor shot. Ooh, gets a little bit further forwards than expected there. Storm's dropping to these Colossi. There's just no real answer to the Colossi, although the Stalker count not super high. We'll start to bring the Colossi back, drops the Storm, and some of the SCVs charging forwards. There's no Zealots here to really protect anything, and so everything just charges in. The Colossi taking a lot of damage. The Stalkers fighting whatever they can. The Colossi will go down, but actually there's going to be Stalkers left over. Disruptors and an Archon. One Colossus remains. Clem down to 86 supply against the 125 of ShoWTimE. 15 minutes in this PvT. There's been an epic semi-final, you've got to say it. All of these Zealots through the center. Colossus comes in. Marine gets picked off. Bio will charge forwards. Lifts into the medevacs. All of this continue to charge through up the right-hand side as you do see the Ghost coming in from Clem. Disruptor gets caught. Is going to get taken down right away. Another Disruptor being picked away at is going to go down. Vikings pick off the Colossus, and just seeing the Bio continuing out to the top side. The Vikings are going to go land in towards the natural expansion. A Disruptor coming up. A few Zealots coming through as well. Just going to see this Bio army. Going to go jumping in on top of this Nexus. So I'm trying to deny some of this economy of ShoWTimE, which he really needs. I mean, if ShoWTimE comes out of this with 2 bases still alive on the top of the map, I think Clem is in a lot of trouble then. These Vikings can shut down as well. Can't believe we're back to 0 Colossi on the field and this kind of scrappy Disruptor Storm Force. EMPs around all over. This Viking getting some serious kills as well as it lifts up, jets away. Stalkers will blink for it. Cleaning up. Clem looking for damage anywhere he can find it. Still 17 workers behind. Re-landing a base over here. Mules drop down to get rid of it. Sorry. Mules drop down to back it up and to get some money going. Make the most of it, perhaps. As we see more and more probes continuing to build. ShoWTimE's Archons around the top. High Templar as well. Zealot Stalkers. Retaking the Watchtower. I mean, at this stage, Clem obviously down heavily on upgrades. There's about to get +3 attack at least, but still missing an armor upgrade. I mean, Clem is just trying to scrap together any little bits and pieces that he can. This would be sick, by the way, because we've not seen a Hero Marine ShoWTimE finals since week 1 of these cups. And that was such an epic final. Reverse sweep by Hero Marine, if you guys don't remember it. I'm already getting a bit excited about that maybe being the grand final here today. As the Bioforce will take a turn towards the front. A couple of Zealots go charging in. Some SCVs going down. Liberator Clem sieges up. Probe gets picked off. All these Zealots coming through as the Bio army comes in, cleans out another Zealot on the bottom. Stalkers blink in, taking down a Liberator already as well. Well, another Storm dropping. I mean, this is the army of Clem right now. He's been able to build it up into pretty decent numbers, and that's not really the issue. The issue is going to be, if he loses this army, what does he rebuild it with? And the issue is also, I guess, kind of the fact that this is an army now which is basically just Bio. There's no Ghosts, there's no Disruptors in that. GG, and that's going to be ShoWTimE taking it 2-1. What an epic semi-final. And moving to the grand finals to fight against Hero Marine.